our language is limited anyway when it comes to emotions. The English language is rubbish at emotions, really poor. How can I say I love ice cream and say I love my children? And that's the same word. It's a nonsense, isn't it? In ancient Greek, they had 4 different words for the word love. 4 different types of love that they used to be able to express. Leslie asked me to come and do some training with you on working with teenagers. I spent a lot of years, up until very, very recently, working with teenagers. The other bit to say is this is all like going to be the theory of it. What I can't do for you is put it into your practice like tomorrow and the day after and all that kind of stuff. So what I need you to do is like work with the theory, but all the time asking yourself the question, well, what difference does this make to what I do next week? And if it doesn't make a difference, then tell us and we'll change track, because I'm only interested in training if it actually makes a difference to what you're doing on a daily basis. Otherwise, it's just, I've been on too many training courses where I've literally just wasted my day sitting there, bored out my head, and it doesn't make any difference to what I'm doing. So I want this to actually be applicable. I think it tends to present teenagers in quite a negative light, like they're moody and tired and lethargic and angry and difficult and confused. Do you know all? I just want to throw this in. I think this is the key word here. Unique. I really do. Because I've worked with all sorts of teenagers, and some of them fit the media stereotype, and loads of them don't. Loads of them. Because actually I think being a teenager is a completely unique experience for everybody who goes through it. And I think we like to group people together and go, oh, you're a teenager, so this is what's going to happen to you. I see parents do it even before their kids have become teenagers. When a kid's 12, they're almost bracing themselves for like the years that are to come. We'll start again just before 11, we'll have about 15 minutes, is that okay? Just give you a chance to refresh and then we'll... I genuinely haven't. It has really been on my mind. So if you get in twos, one's going to, while she's lining up her next question, I'm telling her. And I think the interesting thing is, as a child, and particularly as a teenager, there's a desire in a lot of teenagers to grow up, to become an adult. And I was the same. I was looking at adulthood thinking, yeah, brilliant. Go to bed when I want, go out when I want, I can drink, I can have sex, I can do all these adult things that will be absolutely amazing, right? Then I become an adult and I go, will somebody please just tell me what I'm meant to be doing? Or because, and even now sometimes, like the phone rings, someone asks to speak to Mr. Borland, and I want to go get my dad. I'm like, oh, Dad, I want to get my dad, because it's all. And then even sometimes when my kids are shouting dad, I'm like, oh, does it have to be me? Do you know, like, why am I making all these decisions? Like, I don't. But I wonder if there's something about, do you know what, this phrase, I absolutely hate it. People talk about settling down. It drives me potty. They're like, I'm going to do this and then I'll settle down. What is what? Settle down? Like, get married, I'm going to get married, I'm going to settle down. What does that mean? Why? Is it just me? It makes it sound like the most boring thing in the world, doesn't it? Have your fun. Then you'll get married and have kids and you'll settle down. Basically, you'll be boring as. You'll do nothing. Everything will be serious and sensible. Why is marriage or living with someone, having kids, considered settling down? To me, it just sounds like the most boring thing on the planet. And that's not how I've experienced marriage. And having kids, there's not been very much settling down, especially with 3 kids. I'm very rarely settled, if I'm honest. I'm all over the place with it. So, I don't know, I just find it an interesting phrase that it almost portrays to people growing up and teenagers and young adults, you've got to get all this out of the way, you've got to do all your fun, and then you can have your boring bit afterwards. And I'm like, no, there's so much fun and experience and adventure to be had, like all the way through your life, I think. A man found a cocoon of a butterfly. One day a small opening appeared. He sat and watched the butterfly for several hours as it struggled to squeeze its body through the tiny hole. Then it stopped as if it couldn't go any further. So the man decided to help the butterfly. He took a pair of scissors and snipped off the remaining bits of cocoon. The butterfly emerged easily, but it had a swollen body and shriveled wings. The man continued to watch it, expecting that at any minute the wings would enlarge and expand enough to support the body. But neither happened. In fact, the butterfly spent the rest of its life crawling around. It was never able to fly. What the man in his kindness and haste did not understand is that the restricting cocoon and the struggle required by the butterfly to get through the opening was a way of forcing the fluid from the body into the wings so that it would be ready for flight once that was achieved. I really like that story because I just think sometimes our directiveness, problem solving, well, no, not sometimes, almost always, doesn't come from a bad place. It comes from a place of wanting to help, coming from a place of wanting to solve people's problems for them, sort them out, make things better. But what we actually do sometimes is rob them of the learning experience. We rob them of that kind of, we almost disempower them sometimes by doing that because we're just doing it for them. Whereas actually, if we can stay non-directive, help them to figure out for themselves and then support them in that process to move forward, that's long-lasting empowerment. They'll be able to do that loads of times in the future as well for themselves. That's the difference between these two things, I think. And that's why it's really crucial that where you can be non-directive, go for it. And when you can't be, acknowledge it, and that's okay. Just go for the directiveness. I'd just love to know how it's gone in terms of putting it, because that's the beauty of having a second day, isn't it? You get to kind of check in how this has gone and how this hasn't gone. All right, but thanks for today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'll see you all in a bit. See you later.
Yeah.
Take care. Thank you. Do you think that's wet? Is it? I'm not sure if that's wet or not. Yeah, no, I don't know. Should we just touch it to find out?